You'd be surprised what the world of science has figured out when it comes to romance. 1 minute, science is launching Neil Armstrong across the void to walk on the moon. ABC's Extreme Makeover, Home Edition, gave well-deserving families a chance to start fresh in their dream home. The next, it's telling you exactly how to land your fantasy date. The original run of the series ran for nearly 10 years, stretching from 2003 to 2012, via Today. High demand from fans led to the series being rebooted in 2020 on HGTV, featuring a brand new team, more heartwarming stories, and gorgeous homes. As some families came to find out, however, their home's renovation could quickly turn into another setback, as increased property taxes and bills caused homeowners to sell or lose their homes from the show. Contrary to popular belief, Love and Attraction is less like a romance novel, and a whole lot more like a psychology journal. Others saw their families torn apart from the stress, turning well-intentioned gifts into catalysts for disaster. While it is clear that host Ty Pennington and the rest of the original team only wanted the best for the families they worked with, financial issues and interpersonal conflicts ultimately led to heartbreak and tragedy for some of the families featured on the show. The Oatman-Guyton family parted ways with each other. The Oatman family seemed like the perfect candidates for a home makeover and fresh start. Debbie Oatman was a single mother raising 4 sons, 3 of whom were adopted. Here's what science says is working behind the scenes when Cupid's arrow strikes. Your lips forget about flaunting your curves for a minute. Results from a study at Manchester University found that lips are a woman's most attractive physical attribute. When you think about how much ladies like Angelina Jolie and Scarlett Johansson are lusted after, it's tough to argue against it. 2 of her adopted sons were diagnosed with HIV, and a mold issue in the family's home was a major selling point for the Oatmans to have their home renovated, according to the Times-Union. In 2007, the family's deteriorating home with a sinking foundation was replaced with a brand new home that featured luxury amenities, such as new appliances, furniture, and granite countertops, during an episode of Extreme Makeover, Home Edition, via The New York Times. For extra credit, pink and red lipstick were found to hold a man's attention even longer. Unfortunately for the Oatman family, the home makeover could not repair the apparently deteriorating relationships between Debbie and her sons. In a 2011 interview with Times-Union, Debbie's son Kevin said, "I honestly thought things would change after we moved into the house and it would make everything better." He continued, "She was happy and excited for maybe the first week, and then it was back to the same old garbage." According to Kevin, his mother was prone to outbursts. The paper reported that 22 incident reports had been filed by local law enforcement at the Oatman home between 1997 and 2010. By 2011, Kevin and his brother Brian had left home after becoming estranged from Debbie. When in doubt, go red, it's a classic and it works. Strong eye contact. Forget that saying about the eyes being the window to the soul, because they're also the door to keeping a lover's attention. Turns out your pupils dilate a little more when you're attracted to someone. The kicker? People are apparently super attracted to dilated pupils. Debbie's ex-husband, Joe Guyton, told the publication, the house didn't change her. She's still her plain old nasty self. The Higgins children left their new home and filed a lawsuit in 2004. The Higgins children lost their mother and father within 10 weeks of each other, leaving all 5 siblings orphaned, as noted by EastValley.com. Lesson learned. Never miss an opportunity to fixate your eyes at your intended bae. Pearly White's research suggests that straight, white teeth are more attractive, and it's safe to assume that most folks don't prefer yellow, rotting teeth. We shouldn't even have to tell you this, but brush, floss, and visit your dentist regularly. The siblings were taken in by the Liamidi family, who had previously been the children's neighbors and who belonged to the same church, according to the Seattle Times. The Liamidi family had 3 children themselves, so the addition of the Higgins family doubled the occupants in their home. Within a matter of weeks after the Extreme Makeover, Home Edition, crew replaced the 3-bed, 2-bath home with a 9-bedroom mansion. The Higgins children left, the Seattle Times reported. You'd be surprised how many people don't maintain dental hygiene. It's one of those subconscious signals of health and fertility that evolution so craftily tucked into our DNA to help us survive. The siblings alleged that the Liamidis created an orchestrated campaign to drive out the Higginses by using race-based remarks to degrade and insult the children. After leaving the brand new home, The Higgins children hired a lawyer to file a lawsuit against the Liamidi family and ABC for damages on allegations of fraud, intentional infliction of emotional distress, and breach of contract. The Liamidis reportedly disputed the claims, and ABC had the breach of contract claims dismissed entirely. After the siblings left the home that had been built to accommodate their new living situation, they reportedly ended up living apart from one another at friends' homes. According to the eldest Higgins sibling, Charles II, via EastValley.com. "We were promised a home," he wrote in court documents. "Thanks, evolution, now pay for our Invisalign." Smiling like an emoji. When we say smiling like an emoji, we're talking about the happy face kind, not the inappropriate but well-timed eggplant. They broke that promise. The Simpson family had to sell their new home in 2010. The Simpson family was chosen by the Extreme Makeover Home Edition team to have their house renovated to fit their family's growing needs. Jim and Carmen Simpson were more than deserving of the makeover. Jim ran a small company and was the minister of a local church, and Carmen was a devoted stay-at-home mother who homeschooled the kids. According to Savannah Now, the couple's youngest child, Zoe, was born with hydrops fetalis, a serious fetal condition with a 50% survival rate, via Stanford Children's Health. To accommodate for Zoe's special needs, the Extreme Makeover team incorporated a therapy room just down the hall from his brothers and sisters that included cork flooring and visually stimulating features to assist with his cognitive and motor development, via Savannah magazine. The home also boasted a heated pool. Despite the house being perfect for the family's needs, the increase in bills and taxes eventually became too great for the Simpsons to keep up with. One study suggests that men are significantly more attracted to women who smile. In 2011 and 2012, The Simpsons paid their steep property taxes several months late, accruing interest and penalties along the way, via Savannah Now. By 2012, the family decided to put the house up for sale, and Carmen told WTOC 11, "This was the wisest decision for our family right now," noting, "I do want to make sure everyone knows we are not ungrateful." The Oakvith family couldn't afford the increased taxes and utility bills. 9-year-old Cassandra Oakvith nominated the cancer ward she had spent time at for a makeover from Extreme Makeover, Home Edition in 2005. "It's not like you'll be reeling them in with a grimace. A higher-pitched voice. High-pitched voices are apparently sexier. Researchers suggest it's because higher voices suggest a smaller body size, which our society deems more attractive." According to Deseret News, her story inspired the show's producers to renovate the Oakvith family home in addition to the hospital ward as an added surprise. At the time of filming, the Oakvith family was renting the home they lived in. We all know the truth: helium fetish. While we're on the topic, keep in mind that cigarettes won't help your cause as they have a tendency to deepen your voice, and yellow your teeth. And, cause cancer. The hips don't lie to make things more confusing. Even though men appear to be attracted to smaller body types in the previous slide's study, apparently both Shakira and Sir Mix-a-Lot were also right. Researchers found that men preferred larger hip-to-waist ratios than smaller ones. Nicole Oakvith, Cassandra's mother, told Deseret News, "We wanted her to know what having a home is." The show's producers managed to buy the home from the Oakvith's landlord and transferred ownership to the family. "Call us crazy, but we've chosen to conclude that this means all body types are beautiful and attractive. Make them see red." This study of color stereotypes included 2 photos of the exact same woman. The final makeover transformed the 1,800-square-foot rental into a 6-bedroom mansion complete with a home theater and backyard carousel for the family of 9, as noted by Arizona Republic. Although the family didn't need to make home payments, the utility bills and property taxes soon became too great for the Oakviths to handle. She wore blue in one picture and red in the other, posing the same way in both. According to the Deseret News, the monthly utility bills for the house jumped from $500 to $1,200 and the property taxes quintupled. According to the results, the photo of the woman in red was rated as more attractive and sexually desirable. Furthermore, the men of the study indicated they would be more willing to date the scarlet-clad woman and even spend more money on her. In 2008, the house went into foreclosure and the Oakviths had to sell 2 of their vehicles to cancel the auction sale. By 2009, the Oakviths had put the house up for sale, after failing to sell it 2 years earlier, lowering the original asking price from $1.8 million to $800,000, and then finally selling at $540,000. blue never stood a chance. The body language of attraction. If you're sitting at a bar, turn a little towards a guy you're interested in. The Arizona Republic reported in 2010 that the Oakvith parents had split. The Nicholases had mortgage problems after the death of her husband. Arlene Nicholas won a home makeover for her and her 3 sons. Her late husband, Tim, had just passed away after a 7-year fight against hepatitis C, which he was thought to have contracted from a contaminated needle while working as a nurse, according to Lansing State Journal. The Extreme Makeover, Home Edition, crew rebuilt the family home, hoping to give the Nicholases a fresh start free of charge. The Lansing State Journal reported that state and banking officials reduced the home's original mortgage from $140,000 to $30,000 and significantly lowered the interest rate as well. Leaning in, tilting your head, and pointing your feet toward a person all subconsciously communicate interest and engagement. After the makeover, however, the home's annual taxes increased from $2,000 to $7,500 in just a year. Blushing signals attraction and is the body's way of gaining the attention of the opposite sex. So if you're going out and planning to mingle, don't forget to put on a little blush before you go. Facial symmetry. What might be the most important feature, according to researchers, is something we can do very little about: facial symmetry. This is when the left side of your face looks exactly like the right side of your face and vice versa, with things matching up perfectly from one side to another. A car accident in 2010 set Arlene back, making it more difficult for her to make her mortgage payments, and from then on, it became impossible for Arlene to catch up. Most celebrities and models have strong, symmetrical faces. You can't really change your facial symmetry unless you go under the knife, and we don't suggest trying it. If you happen to be blessed with facial symmetry, thank your genes for the leg up. But if you don't, believe us, there are far more important things you can do to attract someone. See the next slide. Confidence. Confidence is key. Attraction isn't all about appearances, so don't go thinking it's all about winning the genetic lottery. There are many things about your character that make you attractive. By 2017, the house had been foreclosed on, and the family had to leave. In an interview with the Lansing State Journal, Arlene told reporters that she had planned to build a memorial garden for Tim and open up a camp for grieving children. Confidence, for one, can vastly increase your sex appeal. Confident people are more apt to send off signals of interest. Send more signals out, and you'll get more signals back in return. Just don't make it desperate. After her community came together to build her dream house, Arlene had wanted to find a way to show her appreciation. Even if you're not the hottest person in the room, having the mindset that you are happy with who you are can help make a better impression than a model with low self-esteem. In the same vein, there are many other non-physical traits that are incredibly attractive. She said, "I feel bad because so many people came together to help us," stating, "I know I shouldn't feel like I let them down, but I do." The Hebert family's bills tripled after their makeover. Eric Hebert had his home renovated after becoming the caretaker to his late sister's twins, Keely and Tyler, as reported by the Seattle Times. Read on to find out what you can do to attract your soulmate. Self-awareness. Inscribed near the entrance of the venerated ancient Greek oracle at Delphi, "Know thyself," continues to be good advice. Knowing yourself is the same idea as being self-aware, since it involves understanding your own personality and character. So what, exactly, is self-awareness? Psychologist Daniel Goleman, author of best-selling book Emotional Intelligence, proposed the most popular definition of self-awareness as, knowing one's internal states, preferences, resources and intuitions, although it can also cover a broad range of things including your needs, desires, failings, habits, your likes and dislikes, preferences and non-negotiables, what makes you angry or defensive, and, conversely, what makes you happy.
Basically, it encompasses all the things that help you answer the universal question of, who am I? Being more self-aware can greatly improve self-confidence, since self-awareness enables us to clearly see our strengths and weaknesses, which allows us to devote more time and energy to doing what we're good at, and who doesn't like the warm fuzzies that come with kicking butt at something. This, in turn, increases our overall sense of confidence. See, warm fuzzies. Authenticity. When a person is authentic, they're not afraid to be themselves. You can recognize authenticity, both in yourself and others, by traits such as having realistic perceptions of reality, being accepting of themselves and of other people, being thoughtful, having a non-hostile sense of humor, being able to express their emotions freely and clearly, being open to learning from their mistakes, and understanding their motivations. Authenticity, self-awareness, and confidence are all closely linked, too. Unfortunately, after appearing on Extreme Makeover, Home Edition, the full-time construction worker began to feel overwhelmed by the increased bills generated by the new 3-bedroom, 3.5-bathroom house. Chris Armstrong, a certified relationship coach, told me that the combination of authenticity and vulnerability gives people the self-confidence to be open about who they are, and comfortable with who they're not. There are no pretenses with people like this, and when people are able to be genuine, it helps them build deeper, more meaningful connections with others. When I spoke with Amanda Rose, a matchmaker and dating expert, she said that there's something about a person's ability to be unfiltered and raw that creates connection, and when we feel more connected to someone, the attraction level rises. So go ahead and let your quirks show. They're endearing for those who know and love you, and your authenticity will be attractive to those who don't know you yet. Vulnerability. Being vulnerable entails allowing yourself to be seen in a way that makes you uncomfortable. Weaknesses, flaws, insecurities, and all. The utility bills reportedly tripled after the family of 3 moved in. When you're being vulnerable, you choose not to hide who you really are. A little over 3 years later, after the Extreme Makeover crew built the house, the Heberts were forced to leave after defaulting on payments, as noted by 4 News Now. After the show aired, Eric's employer closed shop and he lost his job. The good and the bad, strong and weak, it's all out in the open. In an interview with 4 News Now, Eric explained that he then attempted and failed to start a business, which only worsened his financial situation. I mean, the biggest thing was having to tell my kids that I lost their house, he said in the interview. Regarding his selling the house, Hebert told the Seattle Times, "I'm doing it not to lose money. I just hope people understand the reality of it." The Jacobo family's bills increased while they paid off their old home's mortgage. The Jacobo family of 12 received a much-needed home makeover in 2007, after their family doubled in size. Being open, honest, and real, and allowing yourself to be vulnerable, takes guts. Even though vulnerability can feel incredibly risky, it can also be deeply rewarding. Yvonne Thomas, Ph.D., a Los Angeles-based psychologist whose specialties include relationships and self-esteem, told me that vulnerability, and being open about one's flaws, idiosyncrasies, and weaknesses, makes a person more relatable and human, instead of coming across as too cold or too perfect. And, if you'll allow me to go full fangirl for a moment, University of Houston researcher Brené Brown has produced some amazing work on the benefits of vulnerability. Embracing our vulnerabilities is risky but not nearly as dangerous as giving up on love and belonging and joy. The experiences that make us the most vulnerable, Brown wrote in her best-selling book Daring Greatly. Michelle and Jesus Jacobo took in Michelle's 5 nieces and nephews when her sister lost custody of them. And, if you want to feel really inspired to become more vulnerable, check out Brown's TED Talk on the power of vulnerability. Michelle's father moved in at the same time to help the couple take care of the 9 children under their care, as noted by Kevin Greenholmes. In an interview with KMBC9, Jesus told reporters, "We promised the kids that we will keep them together." The Extreme Makeover Home Edition crew quintupled the size of the house to make room for everyone, via ljworld.com. This renovation, however, doubled the property taxes for the home and was expected to increase the utility and insurance bills. To help the family keep afloat financially, a fundraiser was organized by a local homebuilder, Kevin Green. It is unknown to the public if the Jacobo family has been able to keep up with the significant increases in bills.
Sadie Holmes' home was foreclosed on. Sadie Holmes struggled with cocaine and heroin addiction for 17 years. Eventually, Holmes regained custody of her 5 children after she turned her life around and got clean. It'll leave you feeling both verklempt and awestruck. Courage. Remember how the previous slide said that vulnerability takes guts? Well, courage, which is all about guts, is also an attractive personality trait. In 1999, Holmes launched her nonprofit, Sadie Holmes Help Service. Holmes ran her nonprofit from her home, which was sadly destroyed in 2004 by 4 hurricanes and a house fire and had not been insured, as reported by the Orlando Sentinel. In 2006, Holmes was selected by the Extreme Makeover Home Edition team, via WFTV9. The crew rebuilt the home and transformed the 900-square-foot home into a mansion with office space to serve as the base of her operations for her nonprofit organization. In addition to the new home, the show's producers secured property tax payments and insurance coverage for Holmes. Unfortunately, the cost of running her nonprofit became too great for Holmes to keep up with. Bravery. such as the willingness to take calculated risks, that is to say, risks that aren't reckless. So please don't try to hold onto the back of a moving vehicle while riding your bike. Thomas told me that the ability to stand up for yourself and others, and a willingness to do things that are intimidating, conveys emotional resiliency and strength. Openness to experience and curiosity. Openness to experience is another hallmark of attraction. It costs about $2,000 a month to run the pantry, she told the Orlando Sentinel. Other expenses include the organization's truck insurance and gas, office supplies, and home upkeep. Marked by creativity, intellect, imagination, and curiosity, open individuals enjoy learning new things, are inquisitive about the world around them, and are interested in new experiences. Now, this doesn't mean you have to take up skydiving or go out and party every weekend. I, for one, am terrified of skydiving and would much rather spend the evening at home with a book. An attempt to sell the home was made, but it didn't work out. Notably, the home's location in a neighborhood with barbed wire and junked cars severely inhibited the house's marketability, as reported by the Orlando Sentinel. The question is more about how curious you are about the world around you. For example, different cultures, new places, new activities, or different restaurants, and your willingness to try them. A good example of this is an ill-fated date my dad went on before he met my mom. He was all excited to try out a new Jewish deli in town, and the woman he took there for their first date proceeded to order a plain hamburger with ketchup and was visibly shaken by all the unfamiliar foods on the menu. No offers were made for the house, and it was foreclosed on in 2012. If you or anyone you know is struggling with addiction issues, help is available. Visit the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration website or contact SAMHSA's National Helpline at 1-800-662-HELP, 4357. For the Beach family, living in their home was more expensive than selling it. Larry and Melissa Beach raised and fostered over 85 children, according to the Houston Chronicle. As a guy who grew up in the New York City suburbs, would order food from just about any restaurant in the world, and loves trying new things, my dad knew a second date would never happen long before his Reuben sandwich arrived. Empathy. One big benefit of openness to experience, as well as curiosity, is that they make us more empathetic and help us to form bonds with others, since making an effort to understand the lives of people who are different helps us to expand our worldview and become more accepting of those differences. When we create deeper connections with the people we meet, our interest in their lives of others will likely lead to reciprocated interest. They'll want to know more about you, and the connection grows from there. Be a giver. The whole point of attracting someone is that you want to share your experiences with them. It's no surprise, therefore, that being selfish is definitely not a turn-on. In fact, the exact opposite is true. After Hurricane Ike destroyed their family home, the couple found themselves living with 15 children in a single-family FEMA trailer. In 2010, Extreme Makeover, Home Edition, chose the Beach family as recipients of a brand new home. The crew built an 8-bedroom home with enough space for the couple and the children to live comfortably, as reported by the Houston Chronicle. Studies have shown that people are more attracted to those with a generous spirit. So get out there, open your heart, and be a giver. Volunteer to read to senior citizens. Soon after the home was built, however, the couple lost their 2-year-old daughter, Mercy, after she suffered a seizure. Larry and Melissa decided that they would no longer participate as foster parents. As the older children grew up and left the house, the couple found the increasing property taxes too much for them to keep up with. "It's costing us more to live here than it would to sell it," Larry told the Houston Chronicle. The Beach family struggled to sell their massive home and eventually lowered the asking price from $700,000 to $535,000. "We are torn. The community put a lot into this house and that's really the conflict we have struggled with," Larry told a reporter in 2013. Organize a food drive. Donate money to charity. You'll be doing something good for those around you, while also becoming more attractive in the process. It's a win-win. Show off your playful side. There's an old saying, you can catch more flies with honey than with vinegar. So, if you're trying to catch someone's attention, some researchers suggest you indulge your sweet, playful side instead. After all, who doesn't want to have more fun? Life can be so serious and stressful sometimes, which makes it even more important to shake off the negativity and have a good time. So, the next time you're feeling silly, just go with it. Get down in the dirt, dance in the rain, and throw your head back and laugh from your core. You'll feel amazing and people will be drawn to you. Be the brainiac. There are countless movies built on the premise that no one wants to date a nerd. But maybe those out-of-touch Hollywood producers have it all wrong. According to actual research, we are scientifically wired to be attracted to intelligent people. That's right, folks. Being smart is a highly desirable quality, so stop dumbing yourself down. Dust off your library cards, take your board games and microscopes out from under your bed, and embrace your big, beautiful brain openly and with pride. Remember, romance doesn't have to be the endgame, okay? So, I know this piece focuses on attraction, both physical and emotional, in the context of romantic relationships, but we can probably all agree that 1, that different traits are attractive to different people, and 2, that romance isn't the be-all and end-all of adult life. To the first point, while studies have shown that men are attracted to specific physical traits like big hips or luscious lips or a high-pitched voice, it certainly doesn't apply to all the dudes out there. I'll use myself as a case in point. I have dark hair, a decidedly not high-pitched voice, some might even call it husky, and an athletic build. While these fundamental, unalterable traits quickly ruled out the menfolk who prefer petite blondes, in the interest of full disclosure, I did spend a few years feeling crappy about my soccer thighs and dark brown locks. I haven't exactly spent my life in a nunnery. I eventually married a man who loves how I look, and it turns out he was particularly drawn to my muscles and dark hair. It just goes to show that what men find attractive is totally subjective, and beauty, as the cliché goes, is very much in the eye of the beholder. Adding to which, while finding a romantic partner is definitely something many people want, in no way does it measure your worth or success, even though holy F does it ever feel like that sometimes. Women in particular are often fed the implicit message that we need to change ourselves to become worthy of men's attention and affection. And that, if I may say so, is total BS. Instead, you can use the character traits above to help you build a life that you love, with or without a partner. Cultivating traits like self-awareness, vulnerability, authenticity, courage, openness to experience, and empathy can help you in all facets of life, both personal and professional. They can help you build a social network of friends you adore, create work you find meaningful, travel to places that excite you, and seek out experiences that help you grow. From that point, it's safe to say that relationships are likely to follow, and yet even if they don't, what's most important is that you are able to be proud of who you are and the life you live. Here's to building a life that makes you happy, and all the benefits that come from it.